Welcome to your Projo tutorial. So, this is not going to be one of our big daddy papa projectors. This is actually just going to be one of the little BenQ short throw projectors. Now, first things first, unboxing the projector. As you can see, I pulled it out. It's got its power cable with it, as we always do. We always keep power cables with the equipment. We're going to put the styrofoam back into the box because we don't want to lose it. We're also going to do that because it's going to help maintain the integrity of this cardboard box that we're also going to use as our projector stand. With this short throw projector, you're going to see that it has a little lens on the front of it. You're going to take that off. And it also has a few functions. Right here, if you can see that, can you see that? Mm-hmm. You have your zoom. Then you're also going to have your focus. So those are going to be your two kind of physical options of how you can manipulate the lens. And then you also have menu options with mode options. You also have your source, which is going to essentially be what you're plugging into it. And then you have some things you can do in terms of moving around the menu button when you hit that. Never really need to worry about the eco button, and really never need to worry about the auto button. So, we're going to take this projector on this lovely screen that we've set up. We're going to take this case and its power cable, along with some duvetine or maybe some linen, something along those lines. We're going to bring it back behind the screen. I've already run a power drop back here. So there we go. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is there's a little foot to this projector. I'm going to go ahead and screw that all the way in. That's for adjusting for squareness and all sorts of things like that. There's also a little foot right here. This will adjust for height, so you can give your projector a little boost or, let it down a little bit. And then I'm actually going to cover the box in this duvetine so that it looks like it's a little more professional than just, the projector's sitting on top of a box. And then we're going to go ahead, going to dress it a little bit, make it look neat, kind of fold in the edges a little bit, just make it look like it's, supposed to be there. All right, now I'm going to go ahead, take this projector, I'm going to take its power cable, which is an IEC. I know we have a lot of equipment with IECs. It doesn't matter. We always keep the IEC with the instrument that it goes with. And that's just simply because then everything will always have the power cable that's supposed to. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug in power. All right, the power button has just showed up. If you want to take a look at that. Then we also have a little green thing on the power symbol. I'm going to go ahead and push that. Now power is going green. That means that the lamp is heating up. And we should be shortly seeing some image from this projector. Now, I'm going to go turn off the lights so that we can actually see what the projector is projecting. This is going to be a very low lumen projector. So we're going to really need all the darkness we can get in order to be able to dial this thing in. With this projector here, in order to be able to really truly dial it in, you're going to need a laptop. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to plug into the HDMI port. Now, if you want to come back here real quick, I don't know how well you can see, but HDMI is going to be right there. All right, and now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put this screen into a 16:9 format because it likes to default to 800 by 600, which if you look at the ratio and you do the math, it's a 4:3 ratio. That's like an old TV. We're not old school here. We're new school. We're progressive. What I'm going to go ahead and do, if you want to come over to the computer, we're going to go up to the left-hand corner to the little apple, go to System Preferences. Then I'm going to go to Displays. Now what it'll do, it'll pull up a display right here, and then if you look on the screen over here, it pulls up a big old display over here. Now, it's going to be really, really hard to work off of that. So what I can do, if you come back to the computer, what I can do is I can go down here to something that says Gather Windows. And what that's going to do is it's going to steal that window off of that screen. It's still talking to that screen, but it allows me to go in and change to a different aspect ratio. So I'm going to click on this thing that says scaled, and it gives me the option to go up to 1080p. It's going to go to the BenQ thing for a minute, and then it's going to correct. Now, you can correct the focus a little bit here just to, make it a little clearer again. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit pixely, but we're not really trying to show a whole bunch of specific text or anything like that. We're using this to show a photo montage. What I want to be able to do is do a really, really clean dialing in of this projector. So I'm going to pull up a program called Keynote. So what I want you to do is go to File, Start a New Show. And I want you to go to a white theme. First, you're going to want to go over to Document. Document is a little tab here at the top of the window. And you're going to want to make sure that you are in a slide size of a 16:9 format. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to force a standard 4:3 with a high definition 16:9. We don't want to do that. So let's go 16:9. I'm going to go ahead and click this little play button to play the slideshow. Now, if you move over to the screen, you can see I have a perfectly white box. And this is what I'm going to use to dial in my projector. Using my perfectly white box, I'm going to use a combination of the lens. So first I'm going to take this lens, and I'm going to make sure that the lens itself, not the whole projector, but the lens itself, is centered on the back of the screen. So that's looking like the lens is pretty centered as far as I can tell. Then what I'm going to do, in order to get the image up a little bit, I'm going to use this little foot at the front. You push a button here, and you're going to release this little foot. And so what I'm going to try to do is center as much as I can this white box on this screen, all right? To further dial it in is get as much of it on the screen as I possibly can, but just like as much as I can, but also making the image center at the same time. So by moving it forward and back, I can change that. Now, I also have the zoom option. So if I want to make it bigger like that, I can use the zoom as well. If we're looking at the sides of this, it looks pretty even. If I'm looking at the top and bottom of it, I would say maybe I have a little bit more on the top, so maybe what I want to do is zoom it in just a little bit. And as you can see, even just touching the projector moves the image. So this is the kind of thing where you want to try to make sure that this image is not going to be moved by kids running around and kicking it or anything like that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and escape out of presenter view by just hitting escape on the screen or on the laptop. I'm going to come down here to the buttons on the projector, and I'm going to hit menu. All right? If you are ever having to go from a bit of a weird angle, there is this option of keystoning. Now, on this projector, you can only keystone vertically. But what a keystone will do is essentially bend the screen in a different direction. So as I go up, you can see that the bottom of the screen is being bent downwards. It's narrowing the bottom and keeping the top the same. You can go in the other direction as well. And actually, after keystoning a little bit, it's possible that maybe to make a more square image, maybe I needed a little bit of keystone. So this is where I can go back again, and I can hit play on my PowerPoint yet again. I'm going to exit out of this menu by hitting back again, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit play to get my white box again. And now I can lift up the foot a little bit more. And this is one of those things that you really just got to keep on working on it until you feel like it is perfect. We are striving for absolute perfection here, everybody. So keep messing with the keystone, keep messing with everything else. Whoop. So I just bumped the HDMI cable a little bit. And that's how sensitive these projectors can be. You have to be very, very careful with them. Now the last thing that I'm going to do in order to finish dialing in this projector, I'm going to go back to this menu button. And because I am projecting from the back of the screen, I need to go over to System Setup Basic. I need to scroll down to Projector Position. I need to hit over to rear table. So now it knows that I'm projecting from a rear table. Now this is another opportunity for you to mess with the focus. If things aren't completely in focus, you can mess with that a little bit here, simply because you get to see the letters. So if you ever need to pull your menu back up again, that's a good way to be able to focus in that projector. Is I'm going to take the audio, and very frequently we will have this super epic long RCA to 1/8 inch auxiliary cable. And what we'll do is we'll take the 1/8 inch end and we will plug it into the laptop. The other end, the RCA end, will go into most likely a DJ's mixer. Now, if the DJ doesn't have a channel for your RCA, we will always try to include a separate mixer that you can set up to be able to control the sound, and you can put it next to the laptop potentially. And if that's the case, a lot of this coil is just going to live on the ground, and that's fine, but you'll have to have the DJ's XLR going into that mixer as well to put sound into RPA. We're going to go back into our handy dandy system preferences, and we want to make sure to go to sound, and we want to make sure that the sound output is going out of the headphones, not the BenQ projector, because if we do that, it's going to come out of these dinky little speakers on the BenQ, and it sounds terrible.
Vibrate, vibrate, vibrate.
So you want to make sure that headphones is selected, and then you can exit on out, as you are going to want to test your show. So you can even do this in the same keynote that you were just in. However, most of the time we will try to make sure that you have some kind of content set up for you already in a Keynote or Playback Pro, but now embedding video into Keynote is not necessarily the best way to do this, but sometimes it's the way we have to do it for mitzvahs. So I'm going to drag this on out to meet the sides. When I go to play, it's going to first pop up on the white slide, which frequently will put like a logo or something like that. Uncheck the box that says use timings, then it will only activate if you click the mouse. Now, what I'm going to do is go on to the next slide. Is it playing? No. Most of the time, you have to activate the video. So let's go ahead and click one more time. And here we go. This lovely little montage. The color correction is not always the best, so one thing you can do here, you can go into menu and try to do a little color correction. And you know, it can help you here actually. You can always switch it back to front position. Whoop, that's ceiling. Here we go, front table. So now we can go in here and try different colors. I'm gonna scroll down here to picture mode. I'm gonna try some different picture modes. There we go. So here's some different picture mode options. So this one's cinema. Let's take a look at cinema, see how that looks. Now everybody kind of has a weird red tint on their face. They all look like they're sunburned. We don't want to use that. So I'm gonna go back down to picture mode. Let's try sRGB. I'm not sure what the S stands for, but RGB is probably gonna be red, green, blue. That looks a little bit better. That definitely looks better. So it's possible that we might stick with that one. However, we can always go and try some more. So just do everything that you can with the different modes on the projector to make it look the best that you can. To me, this looks like the most normal faces of the human beings in these pictures and videos. And that is your long-winded introduction of the short throw projector.
What's on a lock off, sound problem? What's on a lock off? Sound problem time. from long time.